Springs National Park. It's a tiny park, but it's a cold and rainy April day, and we're here just to take a look around. It's our first stop on our Western tour, and it's an interesting little place. Probably the second, I believe, oldest park next to Yellowstone. It's a tiny park. I think it would fit inside the largest park in Alaska about 2,400 times. But it's a really neat place, an urban park. So we're going to take a look around and see what's here, soak in some of the hot water, and just enjoy the time. Well, Debbie and I started at the very end of Bathhouse Row, and this is the administration building for the National Park Service. It was closed that day, so we didn't get to go inside, but I don't know if there's really that much to see. There's a few plaques around to read and some signs that explain a lot about the National Park, one of the oldest, maybe second oldest in the country next to Yellowstone. Some argue the oldest, just because it was a sacred area for thousands of years. But right across the street here is the parking. It's public parking, and on the very corner here is the Fat Bottoms Girls Cupcakes. If you want a sweet treat, you gotta stop there. It's the Cupcake War winner on the Food Network. It's public parking across the street, across Main Street, and you can park there all day long for free and see everything you need to see in walking distance. So we started by walking up Bathhouse Row, and there's many old buildings here, and the architecture is just simply beautiful. They were all built in like 1920, 1890s and things like that, and so many people were attracted here just because of the hot springs. But before we go to the visitor center, we decided to stop at one of the two remaining bathhouses that are still open for use. One is still in its original condition that you can go and make reservations at, but we decided to go to this one that has been modernized and make our reservations here. Debbie and I decided to come to the Quapaw's bathhouse to see what it was like to swim in the hot water, the hot springs water in the pools. So we're going to try it and get in the, it's a little cold here. We decided to come in April and see, while it's cold outside, it's going to be nice and warm inside. So we're going to try it out. So this is the Quapaw Bathhouse in Hot Springs National Park. You know, since we're here at the spa, we're here in National Park, Hot Springs National Park, you can't help but just go ahead and go to the spas and swim in the hot springs water. So when in Rome, do like the Romans do, right? The temperature today is about 104 degrees in one of the pools, the center pool, and 98 degrees in another pool, and every pool has different water temperatures, so we're going to check it out and see what happens. But it's something to do, and we're excited about it, so you should try it too. I recommend going early in the morning to make reservations, and they'll call your name and give you a key. They got places to wait a while, but we didn't wait long. You'll go into a dressing room where you need to have shoes and a bathing suit. They'll give you a towel, and you store your stuff there, and then you can go into where the pools are. So let's get at it and see what it's like. Okay, we're gonna try the 104 degree first.
My glasses are foggy.
That was just like so much fun. We had a blast doing that, and I came out of there looking like a beet. It was so hot, but it felt so good. After we left the bathhouse, we walked up to the National Park Visitor Center, which is in just the most beautiful building you've ever seen. That's where the park rangers are. You can get your maps and take a look around. The architecture is just phenomenal. The stained glass windows, the tile, everything's beautiful. This was the check-in room where guests would come, check their stuff in, and it's preserved just like it was in the 1920s. Everything is still original. And after the park ranger gave us a little lecture, we decided to look around and see what it's like. This bathhouse was the finest bathhouse on the Bath Road, and they spent like $2.5 million back in 1920, back in the 20s or 1915, something like that, to build it. They imported all the tile and the mosaics from Italy, and it was as good as it got. What's unique about this bathhouse, unlike the others were more of a spa, but this one was to treat medical conditions. So people came from all over the world to be cured of diseases here. So they had the finest medical equipment. It might look really old of course by today's standard, but back in the day, it was the good as it got. The door handles are a little creepy. I don't know if I'd come in here at night, but it is pretty fascinating. These deep tubs. You really have to try to imagine how busy this place was in the 20s. Hundreds, thousands of people came here to be cured. You would get inside this stainless steel box and just, I guess, basically cook. I guess this is a steam room. Basically all baths. These are just, I guess, just all bathtubs. This was the hydrotherapy room. You got your high-tech showers. There's kind of a low sink there. I don't know if you just stood in it. And I don't even want to know what those are for. And some more boxes to sweat in, I suppose. But again, this was high-tech equipment in its day, and it was used to cure all kind of diseases. And the reason it got that way was, got that reputation, is because just really for thousands of years, people had talked about these hot springs, the mineral qualities, dissolved minerals in them, and the qualities that they provided on healing. So people came everywhere from here. This was the steam cabinet room. As you sat in there and steamed. This is the men's bath hall. And I guess it was kind of designed maybe in a Roman style. But I could just imagine all the hot water, steam. But the architecture is just beautiful. I mean, they didn't spare any expense on design, importing the tile, the marble. I mean, the floors are just fantastic. They just go forever with this small mosaic tile. But they had showers, I guess more hydrotherapy. Bathtubs. Deep bathtubs to soak. And everybody just sat around here and socialized. We're going to go upstairs, and even though this looks like wood, it's actually a marble staircase. We're going to see what's up on top. The tile is just beautiful. I'm fascinated with the floors than anything else. The tile is beautiful. This room is where you got your corns, taking care of your bunions, your ingrown toenails, foot massages, and arches. This is the ladies' dressing room, and it appears to be quite private. Lots of stalls, lots of small stalls with mirrors to change. The wood is beautiful. Just the women here would socialize and hang out before they went to the massage and electro and mechanotherapy. Uh-oh. Sounds kind of scary. But this was a socializing or gathering room where everybody just got together. But this tile from Italy, these little bitty mosaic tiles. It almost looks pixelated, but it's so beautiful. And the ceilings were stained glass, so you can imagine it's a cloudy, rainy day today, but I'd love to see this room in the sun. The entire ceiling is stained glass from Italy. imported. It's just fantastic. And everybody would gather here just to socialize, just to assemble. The men and the women together. They would learn about physical education. Looks like they play some music. From the assembly room, again, this tile leads us into this Hubbard Tub Room. And again, I'm fascinated. Look at the tile on the floor, and look at this tub made out of tile, this tile mosaic. These are tiny little squares, like half-inch square tiles. Here we had the beauty parlor, ladies massage room. This is Electro Massage. I don't know if that would feel good or not. Maybe it's still supposed to cure something. I mean, this is really a pretty amazing place. It even had a gymnasium. Look at this. Look at these weights. They're wooden. And I don't know, those look like bowling pins. Maybe they juggled. Ropes, rings. I mean, this is really pretty cool. In the very bottom of the building, the basement, is where the boiler room was. They had generators down there for electricity, of course, and then all these boilers that sent the hot water and steam up to throughout the building. And the spring is located here as well, number 46. If you look around it, you can see the crystals that have grown around this. But this water is like 143 degrees. Outside the visitor center, they had a table that just described all the bathhouses and gave you an idea and a little history about each one that you could go visit. And so we decided to kind of look around to see which one we would like to see next, and we decided to have lunch. But as we were walking up towards the very end of the bathhouse row, we just stopped to see a few little springs here and there. Ooh, it's hot. Here's a little example of a spring, an outdoor spring. You can see the steam coming out. It's a little cool today, so this is just an open spring. Most of the springs kind of bubble up out from under the ground, under the bathhouses, but this one's a little open for display. But let me tell you what, that water is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah. Oh my goodness, comes right up out of there. Oh, fogged up my glasses. It's hot in there. And that algae can just grow. That has extremophiles, microphiles, bacteria that can grow, algae that can grow in that hot water. These hot springs have been sacred for years and years, thousands of years. And the Native Americans came here for healing as well. Here's another spring that's just bubbling out of a hole. Again, just a hot, you can see way up in there, steam coming out. Tunnel Spring, number 27. Right beside number 27 is this little dripping spring, number 29. Towards the end of the bathhouse row is a couple of bathhouses that have been renovated and aren't used for baths anymore, but the Hell House here is known for their fine dining. But Debbie and I are going to go over here to this Superior Baths. The Park Service recommends them for a quick bite to eat. It has a microbrewery, and the unique thing about that is they actually use the hot water full of minerals, dissolved minerals, to make their beer, to brew their beer with. So I might have to try a little bit of that and see if it tastes any different. It was just a little crowded for lunch, but we were seated soon. I got my flight of beer, and the mango is just fantastic. And the blue burger, oh my goodness, I couldn't eat it all. After lunch, we decided to walk it off, and we walked totally to the end of the bathhouse row and up some stairs, around some springs, and then up to what's called the Grand Promenade. It's a walkway that runs behind the bathhouses. Up here above the promenade walk, which you can walk, it runs behind all of the bathhouses, and it's just a beautiful walk. But up on the top of this hill, the mountains, is actually where the springs are located. If you see these boxes, they're called spring boxes, and they cover the springs from back in the 20s, early 1900s, where they have the hot water springs are there, and under our feet or under the ground here is a series of pipes that collects this water off these hot springs and run down into the bathhouses in various places in town. What's amazing to me is this water has been dated at 4,000 years old. It's not volcanic. It actually trickles down through the mountain for 8,000 feet and gets finally so close to magma that it comes out bubbling at the base of the mountain at 143 degrees. Just amazing. This spring coming along out of the ground looks like calcified crystals, almost like a stalactite or mite or something like that, coming out of under the road there. It runs down here along this trail under us, just on down the hill. It's kind of interesting to see that these springs, look at this. This spring here on this hill is just coming out of that hole, just those little holes. It's just pouring out of there, hot as it can be, into a drain under the promenade walk and just down to the bathhouses. Well, we ended our walk on the Grand Promenade and decided to call it a day. So we headed back to our public parking area, remember, our car, to head on to the next place. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour, whether it was the grand architecture, the hot springs, the pools, or even the museums. Don't forget to get your cupcake, maybe a drink, and a blue burger. So go out and enjoy it, walk it off, see the park, take a look, and enjoy your day at Hot Springs National Park.